Afternoon. Thank y'all for being here. I was telling Mike on the way up, I feel a little bit like Mark Twain because I wanted to clarify some reports that have been out the last few hours, but I feel a little bit like Mark Twain, who said, "The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated." But I do appreciate you coming. For the last 10 years, I've had the privilege of serving ETSU as Director of Athletics, following my 15 years as head tennis coach. I'm extremely proud of the positive accomplishments, the changes, the growth, the successes of our student athletes, coaches, and our administrative team. I was both honored and humbled by Dr. Stanton's confidence that I could help change the culture of our department, establish an across-the-board championship program, and lead a much-needed and long overdue capital development plan for facilities. With great collaboration from vice presidents like Dr. Wayne Andrews, Dr. Wilsie Bishop, Dr. Bach, Dr. David Collins, and a great staff, we've made great progress. But there's still much to accomplish for ETSU to become the nationally recognized brand that we all envision. During the past year, I've appreciated the new energy and vision that Dr. Nolan has brought to our campus. He and I have had numerous conversations, particularly during the last 4 months, about a larger and more strategic role that I can play in assisting him in the planning and implementation of the Committee for 125's vision of the future. Our athletics goals are going to involve even more facility development and significantly greater financial support. He has offered and I have accepted the position of Special Assistant to the President for Athletics. In my new role, he and I can focus on these priorities and work with our students, BASA, the ETSU Foundation and Alumni Office, corporate leaders, and the community to accomplish our goals. Our future is bright, and I look forward to being a part of our future success in my new role. I do plan to retire from my full-time position as of June the 30th, and then from that point on, I'll work with Dr. Nolan and the staff in my new role as is appropriate. In the meantime, we're going to have a period of transition. Back in September, I asked Dick Sander, former VCU athletic director, a longtime friend of mine and a great colleague, to work with us as a consultant during the Committee for 125 task force. He and I have met regularly. He and I have met with a number of coaches and staff members during these months. We've met with Dr. Nolan on a fairly consistent basis to try to put a long-range plan together. As the interim athletic director, he can focus on working with our coaches and our administrative units, and I can focus on fundraising and facility development plans. I think we can be a good team working together and try to move the university forward. His experience and expertise has already been valuable to us, and I know that our staff and supporters are going to enjoy getting to know him and working with him. So I look forward to this period of transition and look forward to my new responsibilities, and appreciate you being here, and I'll be glad to take any questions. Questions?
What exactly led you to this retirement?
What led me to it? Well, you know, I'm 66 years old. Been doing this for 44 years now, and I think over the last year and a half or so, I've tried to sort of assess things and reassess things and decide, you know, what I want to do in the future, both near and far range future. And I think just knowing that we've got a lot of work still left to do, I wanted to be a part of that, but at the same time I kind of want to phase into a new phase of my life.
Coach, there's been a lot of positive things that have happened throughout the athletic department while you've been athletic director. I know it might be hard, but is there any one or two particular things that have happened that you're most proud of?
Well, Don, I appreciate the question. You know, I think the thing I'm most proud of is we've, I think, changed the culture in the department. We were a very struggling, sort of poverty mentality program when I was coaching. And I think through the staff that we've hired, the additional funding that we've been able to generate both from students and corporate supporters and BASA members and alumni, I think we've been able to do some things that we were never able to do before. And so through that process, we've fully funded our scholarships. We've been able to retain our staff and keep good staff members who are not always looking for another job because it's a better place to work than it was. And so I'm very proud of that. We've built, I think, some of the finest facilities anywhere around. We're very proud of those. I think our student athletes and coaches deserve state-of-the-art facilities like all other institutions. And the things that we have built, I think, are high quality. They're great for our fans, and I think they're going to carry us well into the future. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm a relationship person. So I'm really proud of the relationships we've formed both personally and for the university and for the department, because we've got great supporters, we've got great student athletes. I love being around the student athletes. Our coaches are some of the best people in the business. My administrative staff is passionate, they're hardworking, and I treasure those relationships. And so, you know, those take a long time to develop, and I hope they continue for a long time.
And it sounds like with your new position, you'll be continuing to work on the new facilities as part of that overall plan that you guys have laid out.
Well, you know, in 2004 and 2005, we put a long-term plan together. And since that time, we've built the Warren Green Golf Center, Summers Taylor Stadium, Betty Basler Field, now Thomas Stadium. We've relocated our outdoor tennis facility. But there's several projects still in that plan. One is an indoor tennis facility, a phase 2 to baseball, actually a phase 2 to soccer and softball. We've made major renovations to the Dome, to Brooks Gym, but we've got some big plans for basketball, and that's going to take a better facility. It's going to take better funding. So, you know, we've made progress. We've got a ways to go, and I'd love to be part of that. Anyone else?
The committee from 125 said they were going to explore the option of maybe bringing football back. Is this going to be part of your task in this new position, is taking a look at that as well as far as facilities and money goes?
Absolutely. You know, the long-range planning process has been, I think, good for the university. We've assessed where we are. We've looked at what's possible down the road. The real question now is how to, you know. And we know that if we do begin a new football program, or when we do, that's going to take more funding. It's going to take a new facility. Not only a competitive facility, you've got to have offices, locker rooms, meeting rooms, and then it's going to take more administrative support, you know, in the training room, in sports information, in compliance, in academic support. So administratively, we're going to have to add positions, and all those things take money. And so as that becomes clearer, you know, the general recommendation is that we look at the feasibility and put a plan in place to start a program. So when that time comes, that'll be part of our overall plan, and I hope to be involved in that.
Do you know if that'll be a consideration when looking to fill this position?
You know, you'd have to talk to Dr. Nolan about that. You know, his plans will kind of become more evident as time goes on, and I'm sure he and I'll talk about that. He and Dick Sander and I'll talk about that, but I think that's a question for him.
Will you be involved in the process of finding a replacement for yourself?
If Dr. Nolan wants me to be involved, I will. You know, I'll help however I can. I'm a team guy, and I'll be on the team however I'm needed.
Have you spoken to Sandra today or yesterday about that?
Not in the last 10 minutes. Dick and I talk pretty regularly. We've communicated over the last several weeks, and again last night, and he was going to try to play golf this morning, so I didn't bother his tee time. So I haven't talked to him today.
You know him fairly well. What are some of the strengths he's going to bring to this program?
You know, Dick is a guy of high integrity. He went to VCU 23 years ago when they were largely a commuter school, relatively unknown, you know, in athletic circles. They were members of 3 different conferences during his tenure there, and he helped navigate that. He was very instrumental in building their new arena and elevating their basketball to where it is today. He retired 3 years ago, but he had put the plan in place. He had gotten the arena built. He hired Jeff Capel as the coach, and then Anthony Grant, and then he retired, and the new athletic director, Norwood Teague, really kind of reaped the benefits of a lot of Dick's planning and putting things in place. And so he's been through kind of the process we're going through. He's a very thoughtful person. He's very well connected. He's a low ego guy. You know, he's not in it for himself. He's just trying to help us in some ways that he thinks we can benefit from his experience. And I think you know, he'll be very level-headed, very good for our coaches to work with. He played college basketball at UTC. He worked at Memphis for a long time, and then at VCU, and he's doing some consulting with other programs. So he knows what's out there, you know, and he knows what we aspire to be. He also knows the reality of what it takes to get there. And I think he and Dr. Nolan and I can have some great conversations about how we're going to get there.
For the student athletes in this program, will this be a pretty seamless transition? Did this foster maybe new opportunities for them?
Well, I think for student athletes, their main focus is competition, and their coaches and assistant coaches are their direct link to the university. Student athletes, you know, don't come to ETSU because I'm the athletic director. They come because of coaches like Coach Bartow and Coach Skoll and Coach Zattini. You know, they come to play for those coaches. I'm a big fan, and I pay the bills, you know, and I have great relationships with them as I meet them. But I think for them, it'll be a seamless transition. I've sent them a letter today, just you know, telling them that what's happening, and that I want to continue to be supportive of their efforts. But they're going to continue doing a great job. How about that win Saturday night?